Hello, this is Mike Stoltz with Wellhead Systems. Today we're going to talk a little bit about slip flanges. Slip flanges come in a variety of flange connections. Today we've got the 7 1/16, 2000, 3000 double drilled here. We also manufacture them in a 7 1/16, 10,000 or just a straight 3000. The one thing to remember about these slip flanges, it doesn't matter if you have a 7 1/16, 10,000 bottom flange, it is going to be derated to a maximum of 3000 psi working pressure. That's all to do because of how the sealing mechanism is. It will only max out at 3000 psi. This one here in particular is one of the more common. It's the Larkin 612 profile. They're utilized throughout the industry. It's a well-known one. This one here is the Wellhead Inc. Seaboard Weir profile, and this is the old original KTH, which a lot of people refer the slip flange as a KTH. The KTH is an old OCT profile. The main difference is when you go to looking to identify if you need to replace packing, the number one place to look is, first of all, take a look on the side. A lot of times there's stenciling identification on the outside of the flange. If you're unable to find that, let's move up to the top portion where the packing gland is. That will help us identify a little bit as well. The Larkin 612 profile and our 612 utilizes a 5/8 bolt. The Seaboard Wellhead Inc. Weir model has a 1/2 cap screw in them. And then the old original KTH is also a 5/8, the same as the 612. So the main identifiers is to shoot a picture and give us some dimensions of the top gland along with the bolt size if you're not able to find anything stenciled on it. As far as assembling these and identifying all the parts and pieces, we do carry all of these parts in stock throughout our rep organizations throughout the country. And why or where do we utilize a slip flange? Primarily when you're running a pumping well to where you need to pull tension on your pipe. If you got an anchor down hole, it's easy to get your proper tension and straighten your pipe, throw in your slips, land it, and you've got it set where you want with your threads looking up to start building your tree. The assembly of the parts, generally you always have the top packing gland to start with. The top packing glands do carry a bevel on it. On our 612 we actually bevel both sides so it can be utilized either or. And what that does is it matches with your bevel right here on your top packing ring. And that goes for the Weir Wellhead Inc. one and the OCT model. We've also got a little difference what we'll talk about next. But when you go to assemble these, our model 612, the Wellhead Inc. Seaboard Weir ones, both use a Model R slip segments. So first thing we would end up doing is we would put in our slips once we get the proper tension on the pipe and land that out. Then you've got your bottom plates and they're unidirectional, doesn't matter. Those would drop in. And then on your packing rings, make sure you grease it. On the 612, it's a plain flat one, but we always put the print up so you might identify as soon as you go ahead and pull the top plate off to replace the rubber in it. So that would go in next after you grease it, and alternate your splits. So you've got a staggered splits. Top plates, your bevel is faced up, the flat side goes down. There again, alternating your splits. And then your packing gland would go on after that. So that's the basic assembly of those. The Weir Seaboard Wellhead Inc. one, same steps. We also have the bevel on both. Some of the manufacturers don't put the bevel on both sides, so look for the bevel to make sure it matches your top plates. And on the Seaboard ones, we do have a lip one. So your lip will actually face down, so when it pressure energizes, it helps seal against the pipe and the ID of your slip flange. And the last one is the KTH, the old original OCT KTH. They do have a different set of slips, so those would utilize, go in first. And then kind of something different, both your bottoms and tops are the same. So you'll have 2 sets of tops and bottoms. Doesn't matter which way they go in. But the rubber here again is just put it with the print identification facing up, and it's a straight flat one. Make sure you grease it, alternate your splits. And the top packing gland on these has a little neck that goes down, and that'll go inside of the bore of your flange to help with the compression. And that's pretty much everything on the slip flanges, except for one thing to really remember. It's an industry standard, maximum 3,000 PSI on your slip flanges. Doesn't matter what the format of your bottom flange is. If it's a 7 1/16, 10,000 or 5,000, it's always going to derate to 3,000 because of the mechanics of the sealing. Well, thank you for your time, and we are also available for in-person training upon request. Either this type of a product line, our wellhead line, or any of our other product lines. Also look and subscribe for us on the YouTube channel. And once again, work smart, stay safe, and make your connection with WSI.